been a really busy summer in the transfer market. We've already had 3 confirmed signings. I'll let you go through them one at a time and tell us what they're going to bring to the squad next season. So we'll start with Peter Clarke.
Clarke, he represents probably where we were at last season when I got Adam in. You know, he was a big character, a real leader on the pitch, and I think he really helped settle, you know, quite a young, dynamic back four, and with Popey as well as a young keeper. I think he was really influential in the character that I felt I needed. So we was looking for that sort of player, and when I knew that Peter come up, you know, we chased him. You know, with quite a lot of intent. There was other clubs chasing him, but when I met him and understood about him and his characteristics and what he wanted to do and how he wanted to lead and be a part of this, you know, he was a player that I wanted to jump into and really wanted to bring to the football club. So I was really impressed on the interview that we had with him, and he impressed on me massively. And you know, his last season, where he come from last season, played I think with 6 or 7 different partners at centre back, and that's difficult to do, you know. And I looked at his form and his individual form, and he stood up to be counted every single game. So you know, he's a type of player that I'm going to enjoy working with, and he'll become a massive part of this squad. So I was delighted to get Peter.
What about Leon Clarke?
You know, Leon wants an home. He wants somewhere where he feels that he can do his football work. He wants to be understood. He wants to fit into something and be a part of something. He made that quite clear. He knows what he wants from me as a manager. I've asked him that direct question: what does he want from me and my staff? And we're prepared to you know, go above the call of duty to do anything that we can to make him feel at home here and feel a part of something going forward. He saw the momentum of the club, he understood the momentum of the club, and he enjoyed being part of that and something a bit new and a bit different. But certainly as a player, you know, he represents someone he's got power, he's got the ball will stay with him, we'll be able to lock it into him, and you know, he's a player of high talent and great pedigree. So delighted to get Leon. It was a chase that you know, we had and for a couple of weeks, but it was one that was totally worth it, because what Leon represents is real pedigree, football pedigree, and a quality that I can't wait to get started with.
And now about obviously the final one of the 3 in Tom Pope.
Yeah, you know, we looked at the top of the pitch last season. We evaluated the season after the season finished, and again, it was I felt as though we could have scored, you know, more goals as a team. Other players chipped in well, but I do feel as though, you know, that we needed a striker, a real hungry striker that scores different goals to the ones that we had, and Tom represents that. You know, he scores headed goals, he scores goals from crosses, he scores goals from inside the box, you know, from the first 6-yard zone, the second 6-yard zone, and he really attacks, you know, that box well. So he's someone that he's got the knowledge, the know-how, you know, certainly in League One. And when I spoke to him, I think we had 3 or 4 hours here, you know, at Carrington, really talking about what the season represented and what he represented. And he's focusing on the team. He loves being a team player. He loves to be part of a team, and his work ethic and industry is fantastic. So delighted to catch a Popey, and you know, I've got very good strikers at this football club already, but that just gives us a different dimension, I feel, going into next season.
Would you consider the 3 signings then to be a statement of intent going on to next season?
Absolutely not. You know, there's been intent from day one. You know, there's no statement of intent from us. We go after good players that fit into our budget strategy and our budget structure, and that's what we've looked to do. You know, we've gone with, again, like I've always said, when I first started here, 37 players. We worked with sort of 20 odd players last season, and it might be less this season, because I really do want to work with quality, and that's what I've tried to bring into the football club. You know, so we've gone for players that I believe will add a different dimension to what we had last season, and that's important, you know, because we've got to improve. The league is probably 20% better than League 2, maybe a bit more, physically, tactically, technically. You know, it's a better league. There's no doubt about that, with some magnificent teams in the league, and you know, we've got good players in for the right money, and that's key to the business plan.
Are there any more signings to come, and are there any deals that you're currently working on at the moment?
Yeah, we don't stop, genuinely, you know, whether we don't stop looking at different options, different ways to add to the squad, versatility, flexibility, you know, and we keep looking at different ways to improve this team and this squad. So we're currently looking at different options, you know. We've talked to a couple of players, you know, we're trying to maybe do something with them over the next week or so. But if they don't come off, there'll be other players that come up, you know, because it's a domino effect this time of the year. Players are aware, they find out that, you know, they come back home and then they're asking their agents to get themselves sorted. But some of the demands before, you know, they go away are quite ludicrous and ridiculous. So, you know, we're kept ahead of the situation by, you know, quite a lot of agents and the recruitment team here, and you know, we're trying to be one step ahead of most other clubs, and it's difficult, but you know, we try and manage to do that.
So there's been a few changes off the pitch as well. Your fitness coach John Lucas has left. He's gone into a role outside of football. Was he a difficult pair of boots to fill in some way?
Yeah, you know, I've worked with John for a long time. John knows me. He knows exactly how I operated. I didn't have to tell John really what I had to do or what I wanted him to do. He just knew what I wanted from him. He knew every sort of detail that I was after. I'm very meticulous when we go to an hotel, or you know, in a prep meeting or a preparation meeting or on the training ground. And John was always in front of me. So it's going to be a difficult role to fill, you know, and you know, I can only thank John for the service he's put in, not just at Bury, for the service he's put in at Rochdale and Barnsley, because it was you know, exemplary, and he did it to. He's an incredible professional, and you know, he's took to a different job and a different way of doing things, and you know, to become a lecturer and probably more of a giving more longevity, because football, you just don't look around the corner. You know, that's the nature of the beast. When you're in it, it's a business that you think you're doing all right, and then suddenly, you know, you realise that you've not got a job, and it's a difficult business to stay in all the time. Do you know what I mean? And John's gone for the security, and we wish him you know, every success, and he will be successful, because what John brought to us was something that was unique to me, because you know, he was a real professional. What I have done, and it's something that I do believe in. The chairman, from day one, we talked about it, promoting from within. If you feel someone is good enough, give them the opportunity. So that's you know, we've stepped Nick Meese up. We got Nick Meese in a year ago, and he's become a valued part of the team and the staff. And you know, it was a natural progression for Nick. I wanted to know if he wanted to do it, and he jumped at the chance. And now it's about Nick developing himself as the first team fitness coach. My players have been working with Nick, you know, during the summer. They've been getting up and getting to the gym with Nick around about 6 o'clock in the morning, and working with Nick. And again, that's something that we've done this off season, and it should stand us in good stead for next season. So we've already there was a crossover last season. John and Nick worked together and communicated well, and you know, it was good, I suppose, finding out that John was going sooner last season, because it gave us a chance to really look for that person and make sure I got the right one in. And in Nick Meese, I think we've got a fantastic acquisition for the football club, and like I said, it gives us an opportunity to develop and promote from within, which is something that I really do believe in.
So in Nick's place, you brought in a young lad called Josh Ford as kit manager, and also as the strength and conditioner. What impressed you about Josh to bring him into the club?
I'd worked with Josh at Rochdale. He was a player, and he just fell short, but he stayed in the game. He stayed, you know, playing semi-pro, and stayed working on his degree. And you know, he's a person that really understands about how the body and body mechanics. He really does. He's got a degree in it, and he understands about how the body functions and how it works and how it moves and how it flows. So that's again an added bonus to the first team squad, and to the first team fitness staff, because you know, you've got to look into every detail. You know, if I can limit players from being on the treatment table, then they're going to be performing on the training pitch. And with our intensity, you know, I've got to have players performing high levels on the training pitch to make them, you know, be top draw on a Saturday. So that's something that, you know, with young Josh, that we've brought someone in who's in the industry, knows the industry, who knows about people. I actually played with his dad, Tony Ford, who and he played over 1,000 football league games, an incredible career, and he's brought Josh up fantastically, and Tony is probably one of the most professional men that I've ever worked with and played with, and Josh has got a lot of his good traits and his good qualities. So I'm going to look forward to building that department, because now we've got Carrington, it's really important that the infrastructure and the support's there for players to go and see them sort of staff and trust in them. So we've acted quickly. We've got Josh in, and he's really enthusiastic in this role, and I'm delighted to be moulding that team and building that team with Jamie Escott as well. We've got lads here who are totally into making players better and fitter and injury free, and that's something that the football club, we've got to keep doing and getting value for money on players. If we're paying them money, we've got to make sure that they're on the training pitch and doing the job.
Another big change going into next season. Chris Brass has now moved to head of football operations. So can you explain to us what Chris's new role is going to involve and how that'll help you as a manager and your other member of staff and even the players?
Yeah, I brought in Chris as the assistant manager, and when I first got the job, and Chris has done unbelievable in that role to give us the success that we've had, staying in the league last season and then staying in the league the season before, then promotion. With Carrington and with League One and the complexities of League One, and the way the club's trying to go and where we're going with the academy and gelling that together, we felt at the football club that we needed a new role developed, head of football operations, and Brassy is someone who I trust implicitly, and it's a really important role at the football club, to make sure that we've got career paths designed for the players coming through the academy, to make sure the academy's running smoothly, to make sure first team operations, hotels, food, logistics, geographical, information, budgets, down to every single detail, trying to network and make sure that we're in the race to sign academy players at other clubs potentially, Premiership clubs. We need a link, we need a relationship builder. So Chris is going to be influential in every little bit of the link between the first team and the academy, the first team and the staff, the medical department. It's a broad role that sort of covers absolutely everything operational at the football club, and it's a role that I'd probably only trust Chris with, and he knows how I operate. He's working for 18 months now. If we're looking for players in terms of recruitment, he ties all that in. He makes sure that the players that we're looking at, can they fit into our training programme that's really intense? Will they fit into the dynamic? And I think the biggest thing is dealing with the agents, because for 8 years now I've been totally accessible to every agent, up and down the country and foreign, and I'm getting 30. It's never been as intense as this summer programme. These 30 agents at least a day that you're fighting off, you're fending off, and the good ones know when to deal with you and when not to. But there's agents out there who just chances now, and they phone you every time of the day, and it has a real impact on your football life. And I know next season in terms of League One football that we're going to have to concentrate totally on the football and getting that right, and that's something that I've really got to concentrate on myself. And with Futch, Ben Futch stepping up to the first team assistant manager, then we can really knuckle down on the football side of things and concentrate on that, because that is what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to do. I'm paid to get results on the football pitch, to keep the football team progressing, to keep the football squad progressing, and we've got in Chris, we've got someone I can trust to do the other side of football that sometimes people don't really see.
Obviously now with Ben moving up to assistant manager, there was room for your first team coach, and you brought in someone that we're all familiar with and he played a massive part in the dressing room last year. That's Chris Sedgwick. Was that an easy decision for you to bring someone like Sedge back?
It was a thing that we muted towards, after we'd come back from Spain and we'd spent that time with each other. It was something that we mooted and we talked about, and I spoke to the chair about, and the management team, and it felt comfy. It felt really comfy to have Sedge part of it, and to have him, you know, more part of the management structure. He'll still train with the first team. He'll still be available as a player to be involved in the first team squad. He's a fitness fanatic anyway. He's kept himself incredibly fit and in fantastic nick. And I think, you know, when we went back to gig and saw the respect the lads had for him, and that was something that really, you know, one more year, they were singing one more year, and it was something that really, I caught onto it, and I thought, wow, he's highly respected by all the players, and I respect him in football. He's got some fantastic contacts. That's something that, you know, he's got a lot of contacts, and it sort of reminded me when I first started on this journey of someone who was keen to get involved in coaching, but sort of didn't know which route I wanted to go in. I think what Sedge has done with the finances, he's looked at that route, but he probably wasn't expecting an opportunity that's come up so soon, you know, in coaching. So I felt really comfortable with it. I know that Ben did, the chairman did, you know, and Chris did. So it was a real win-win situation for us. To talk him into it wasn't really difficult. We had an informal chat on it to see how he felt about it, and it just felt right. You just know when you're having these conversations that it feels right, and Sedge is going to be a valuable asset to our coaching team, but also to the playing team. So you know, it's a good signing for the football club, on the back of him sort of retiring from football, you know.
So what's underway at the moment on the pitch? We know how bad it got last season. Are you confident that the improvements that they're doing now over the next week are going to ultimately improve the pitch for good now next season?
You can never say never, do you know what I mean? You hope so. I mean, a lot of money was spent last year, probably on the infrastructure, and some of it failed and some of it was a success. I think the bits that failed, obviously, you know, we've been able to, or they're rectifying that as we speak. I think the work's going on as we speak. What I do know with having the two sides, you know, and having, you know, Gareth come from Bolton Wanderers, he's got high experience working at, you know, some of the best training grounds, you know, Exton and the Eddie Davis, and obviously the Macron Stadium, to bring that wealth of experience and knowledge to, you know, our football club. I think that's massive. I really do think it's massive, and the work started. It started on Carrington. It started at the club, but you just never know. Other pitches have failed that have spent a lot more money than we did. You know, so I'm hoping so. I really am. Start of the season, the playing surface was fantastic. You know, 24 mil, absolutely outstanding surface, and you know, the lads appreciated that, and you know, our football appreciated that. So you hope it does, you know, but you just never know as the season progresses, and I hope so, because, you know, there's certainly the chairman, the board, and they deserve that because they put a lot of time, effort into it. And like I said, by bringing Gareth in, he's someone who really does, has got the capacity to have a top football pitch.
It's the first round of the Capital One Cup tomorrow, seeded versus unseeded. Is that a format that works for you? And if so, is there anyone that you'd sort of hope to get in the first round? Is there anyone you've thought of?
There isn't, no. I'm not one of them. I don't really spend a lot of time, and we have been busy this summer, you know, and I don't really spend a lot of time guessing who we might get. You know, I know a lot of people play the game. If I won the million, you know, if I won the Euro Millions, what would you spend it on? Well, until you've won it, you've not a clue. So, you know, there isn't. Genuinely, there isn't. I'll know we'll be prepared for it because we're coming back early. The lads will be prepared for it. You know, and I'm not really dreaming. I'm a real realist, and whoever we get, you know, we will be competitive. You know, I want to make sure that we will be competitive, and it's just exciting, isn't it? It's exciting knowing that that's coming around the corner. Then as soon as that comes around the corner, the league fixtures come out. So it's a real exciting time for us all, and I'd rather get up on that excitement than expect something and be disappointed, you know, and that's the way I sort of view things.
Did you ever get over the disappointment of last season's venture in the Capital One Cup at Bolton?
It taught me things. It taught me things about, you know, how what needs to be improved in football, you know, and refereeing standards and fitness need to be improved. If a referee's in full-time employment, I don't think you should be allowed to do a night match. I really don't. I don't think you should be allowed to work all day, travel to a game, possibly get in traffic, be late, because the refereeing performance is the worst of the season by a country mile. So, you know, without that refereeing performance, we progress, and we beat Bolton comfortably, a good chance to beat Crewe, and then, you know, you possibly get in Chelsea. So it could have changed the fortunes round, you know, and give the chairman, you know, some welcome money back to the football club. So I look at it, you know, as the cup competitions are important to a club like ours. And again, you know, the fans deserve the bragging rights of beating Bolton. We beat them hands down in nearly every aspect, apart from, you know, seeing the last little bit off. So, you know, of course I've got over it, but I think I've learned a lot. And I've spoken to the Referees Association about it, I've spoken to the referee about it, and certainly better sanctions need coming into place to make sure that does happen, because, you know, we got a real hammer blow by not getting through. And again, the chairman's got to dig in his pockets, because I felt we'd earned that money from the next game and potentially a game after that.
There's been a lot of excitement over the last few weeks, obviously, with the signings, and then on Wednesday the fixtures are announced, which I assume will be a cause even more excitement, and it'll give the fans something more to look forward to going into next season. Is it something that you look forward to, the fixtures being announced?
Yeah, you know, it's what we're in football for. Them first fixtures when they come out, and you know, and the way they mapped out now, and the way they planned, and the papers now, they've always got you know, a diary, and if I don't get it straight away, my mum always sends me them anyway. Do you know what I mean? And mark different occasions down. So it's one of them. You know, that the fixtures we're all looking forward to, especially new teams, new destinations to travel to. Some good northern teams and sort of Yorkshire teams. It's heavily influenced by the northern teams. So it's just an exciting concept for us all, and one that, you know, I can't wait to see. And again, that, you know, me and Chris has talked today with the chair, and, you know, that's something that we've got to now get into the melting pot and start building what our season looks like in terms of travel and hotel and expenditure, and how we support and prepare, doing training grounds on the way to venues. All that now we do that in the off season. You know, we really do put a lot of time and effort into the off season, because once the season gets going, you know, it really does become you know, really on top of you with the work that you've got to do. So I'm looking forward, like everyone is, to the fixtures, but really, you know, in anticipation and excitement to see you know, where the games fall into place.
You will actually be in the country when the fixtures are announced on Wednesday. You're away in Prague on working on your pro licence. Is there a time when you actually switch off from football, or is it just a constant part of your life?
I went to, you know, different, you know, some managers have gone on golfing holidays, some managers have done different things, but I went to Holland with the under-13s, and it was incredible. I've come back today to speak to, you know, the academy staff about what we learned and what we understood. The kids had a fantastic time, the parents understood, we found out a lot about our children, and it was a brilliant concept. The Dutch, you know, they're really heavily involved in football, they're obsessed with it, it's an obsession for them. So it's a country that I love visiting. I've had a family holiday which I've, you know, not switched off from, but I've certainly spent some unbelievable quality time with the kids, you know, and my wife and some family. So that's been special for me. I've loved that. But, you know, the pro licence has helped me a lot in this job. I've met some fantastic contacts. I've brought some concepts that I've learned from it. Given me an opportunity to bring Gary Neville in to speak to us at the end of the season, to help us along in our quest for promotion. And I've met some brilliant contacts and learned so many things. You know, we've had a talk with Mercedes, who's come in, 46 of the Mercedes guys, to show us how ultimate teamwork is. We've had an SAS commander come in and tell us about what the responsibilities is in a life and death situation. We've had Sean Dyche come in talking about leadership, and I've just been totally engrossed, and it's been fantastic. But the next module is going evaluating and studying and live coding every single game over in the championships. with some fantastic teams, and it just so happens that, you know, England's supporting the manager Gareth in his quest to win the tournament with our, you know, England's best, you know, with Harry Kane and John Stones and Pritchard, and it's just unbelievable that we'll be watching them, you know, Mourinho, we're watching them players, you know, live and up personal. We've got a day in the England camp watching how they prepare and how they get ready, and they evaluate what they're doing and how they train, what intensity they train at. We've got guest speakers coming in to tell us about the DNA profile of the England setup, recruitment strategy meetings. It is a real full-on 7 days of work that you know, I'm looking forward to, and it's come at a good time because you know, we start back probably one of the earliest on the the testing's on the 21st and 22nd. We start back on the 24th, so it's a real early programme I've got this year. But what's exciting me is the players have been back in, and I've missed a bit of that being away. They've been working with our sports science team and our staff, you know, but it really does give me a chance to really engross myself in football, you know, before the season starts. So I can't wait to get over there and really start, you know, analysing how other people do it, because that's how you learn, that's how you become better at what you do, and you know, it's my job to become better at what I do to try and make the squad better.
Brilliant, thank you.
Cheers, Jack.